Hey functions classes, it is Tuesday. This is your warm-up. So I would like you to find each angle and the reference angle. This is based on yesterday's lesson. So go ahead and do that. This should take you about 5 minutes. So go ahead and hit pause and get that warm-up done. All right, so you should have gotten the first angle right here. You should have gotten that 218 is about right here. It's going to be in the third quadrant, and the reference angle would be from here to 180 degrees, which would be at 38 degrees. So for this one, if you do this one, you start at 0 and you get 0, 360, 720, 10,000 or 1,080, and then if you add 90 and 90 more, 100, when you get to this spot right here, we're at 1350. So 1350, that would be what, 37 more degrees this way. So from here to here is 37. Oops. Can't see what I'm doing, sorry. Doing this in my living room is harder than on my desk at school. So from here to here, I'll use a different color. That's not going to be a good color. So from here to here is 37 degrees. So we want to find the green one. So 37, to get all the way to the x-axis would be another how many degrees? So we know that 37 plus whatever that green one is going to be 90. And we know that because I'm using this whole quadrant right here, the fourth quadrant. So I'm kind of breaking this up. So we got to subtract 37 from both sides. And we get 90 minus 37. You should have gotten that right here is 53 degrees. So if you have any questions on that, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, get your notes out. We will be taking notes today. We have a lot of stuff to take. So I'm going to go to the next slide right now. All right, so go ahead and hit pause. I would like you to get all of this in your notes. This is saying that when x is less than 0, but y is greater than 0, and r is greater than 0. So we're going to be talking about when these circumstances happen, what is going to happen. So in the second quadrant, when these circumstances are happening, then sine and cosecant are going to be positive. All functions are positive here. So we're talking about those 6 trig functions. So go ahead and hit pause and take as long as you need to get this all in your notes, because you are going to need this. All right, so now that you have this in your notes, we're going to go ahead and do some examples, I think. At least that was my plan. There we go. All right, so we're going to determine the signs of the trigonometric functions of an angle in a standard position with the given measure. So we have 87 degrees. So 87 degrees, it lies in that first. So if I were to draw it, it would be somewhere right about here, right? Close to 90 degrees, but not quite there. So that angle lies in quadrant 1. So then all of the trigonometric functions are going to be positive. So you're going to want to refer to that chart. So 300 degrees, we got, again, 90, 180, 270, so somewhere around here. If it's in quadrant 4, what's going to happen? Well, since it lies in quadrant 4, the cosine and secant are going to be positive, while sine, cosecant, and tangent and cotangent are negative. So you're going to want to know those things. So this is what we're talking about when we talk about what is happening there. All right. Try negative 200. So again, if it's a negative angle, we're going to go down. So, whoa, we're not ready for that. Here we go. So we're going to go down. We got negative 90, negative 180. So somewhere right around here. It's going to be before that. So it's going to be in quadrant 2. So knowing how to draw those angles and put them in the right place. Also, those notes that we did here tell you where your quadrants are. So hopefully when you took this down in your notes, you put that this was quadrant 1. Oh my gosh, you guys can't see where I'm pointing. This is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Alright, so I would like you to try this one on... Oh, okay. I guess that was the last example. Sorry, I was going to have you do the negative 200. Okay, so we're going to identify the quadrant or the quadrants of any angle theta that satisfies the given conditions. Go ahead and hit pause, and I'd like you to take these two questions down so we can go over them. Alright, now that you're back, so if sine of theta is greater than 0, and tangent of theta is less than 0, then they have to be in so sine of theta is going to be greater than 0 in quadrants 1 and 2. And tangent is going to be greater than 0 in quadrants 2 and 4. And since they both only meet in quadrant 2, then our answer has to be in quadrant 2. So go ahead and try B. So the cosine of theta is going to be less than 0, and the secant of theta is also less than 0. So go ahead and try that. So you should have gotten that the cosine and secant functions are both negative in quadrants 2 and 3. So theta could be in either one of those two quadrants. So you can still get something where you have an answer to both of them. I know I have some slower writers, and you can go ahead and hit pause so you can get those examples in your notes. Alright. Okay, so now I'm going to hit pause because my formatting on this is weird, so I'll come back after I fix it. Once I find my mouse. You are going to want to get these examples in your notes, because this will help you finish the rest of that homework assignment. So suppose angle theta is in quadrant 2. So that's going to tell us some things about sine, right? And the sine of theta is 2 over 3. Now remember, sine is y over r, right? So we know some things. Find values of the other 5 trigonometric functions. So we're going to have to draw some things. Alright, so let's see what we can figure out. So we want to choose any point in the on the terminal side of angle theta. So since, like I just said, since sine of theta is equal to y over r, we know some things. So we'll let 3 equal r, so then y will equal 2, right? Because that's what we're given. Then we're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem. We're going to do x squared plus y squared equals r squared. I know what y squared and what r squared is, so I'm going to solve for x. So then x is going to equal, x squared will equal plus or minus the square root of 5. So remember that anytime you take a square root of an unknown, it's always plus or minus. So then, since theta is in quadrant 2, then x must be negative 5 because it satisfies those rules that we've talked about. So this is something that takes a little bit longer for us to do because we just need some practice with it. So if some of you need to still write this down, go ahead and hit pause right now. Alright, so continuing on this problem, we are going to go ahead and draw it. So we said it was going to be in quadrant 2. We went ahead and drew it. We know that the cosine of theta is going to be x over r. And since now we know what all 3 are, we know what our x is, we know what our y is, and we know what our r is, we're going to be able to put all 6 trigonometric functions. So remember secant, you have to rationalize that denominator. We have tangent. And then we need to do the reciprocals of that. So I know that some of you are writing this down, so go ahead and hit pause. Alright, and now we're going to do the reciprocal. So we've got cotangent, cosecant, and we'd already done secant back here. So when we had already figured out sine, that was what was given. Alright. Okay, so we're going to find sine of theta and cosine of theta, given that the tangent theta, I don't know why the thetas are different. It's font, I'm sorry. But this weird curly thing right here is also just a theta. And this is just another theta. So see, you're getting to see theta in different forms. Not really, it's just different fonts. All right, so tangent of theta is 4 over 3, and theta is going to be in quadrant 3. Well, we know a lot of stuff about that. We know what sine and cosine have to be in quadrant 3, and they both have to be negative. And since sine, theta, and cosine are negative, then that's our answer. It's just negative. So that is the only thing. And now we need to find the sine and cosine of that. So go ahead and we'll pick a point. -1, -1, which is going to be right here, right? We'll make a point right here. Oh, wait, what did I do? Why did I put way over there? Well, we'll make this 1. I wanted you guys to see it. And this is -1 also. So then this is our point. And we just chose an easy one. Alright, so if we draw our triangle, then I know that this is -1 and this is -1. So this has to be the square root of 2. I know that because -1 squared plus -1 squared is the square root of 2. Oops, go back. Okay, so we're going to find these trig functions of it. So cosine is x over r, and x is -1. And r is the square root of 2. Here, we'll put that too. We'll put x is equal to -1, y is equal to -1, and r is equal to the square root of 2. But remember, we can't have a square root in the denominator, so we're actually going to get negative square root 2 over 2. So the cosecant, which is going to be the reciprocal of sine, so we're going to have the square root of 2, which is the hypotenuse, and the opposite side, which is negative, whoops, not -11. It's going to be -1. All right. End of PowerPoint. Hold on, I'll fix this. So we would have had the negative square root 2 over 1, which is actually just equal to negative square root 2. And then cotangent is going to be the adjacent over the opposite, and the adjacent over the opposite is -1 over -1, which is equal to a positive 1. Remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Alright, that is my last example for today. We will be reviewing when I come back on Wednesday and Thursday. So if you have questions, write them in your notes. Start working through your My Math Lab. You should have the rest of the period to work on that. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. I look forward to it. Seniors, I will not see you tomorrow because today is your last day. I will miss you. I hope you have a great future. I will see most of you at graduation on Saturday. Otherwise, thank you for being in my class. I've really enjoyed you. Have a great rest of your life. Enjoy graduation. Remember to let your mom take lots of pictures and enjoy it. Smile. You all, this will be one of the last times you're with all these people all at the same time. So enjoy it while you can. All right, have a great day. See you all on Saturday, those seniors. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.